a media personality and be like, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about this.
Exactly.
And this is the job, and we got to get out there now. Let's do it right now.
Exactly.
That kind of thing.
And that's exactly how we are.
Yeah.
That's exactly how we are. We're very, all four of us, very alpha females.
Really?
Yes.
So then that has, for alpha male / alpha female, whoever get into a room together, there's got to be some sort of...
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the reason why they chose us.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. That's the purpose of the show. That was Barbara Walters' initial intention, to have, 4 very diverse women sit and discuss their point of view. And that's what The View is about. And so that's why I'm liking it. And I think it's, it just really bothers me. It really bothers me because not only are we alpha females, well, I can speak for myself. I don't want to speak for the other women. I'm a very passionate person. Mm-hmm. I'm an artist at heart. And, so what else are you going to expect from me? And we do have lively debates, and sometimes they get really, really, really uncomfortable and touchy. And, but you know what? It also makes for good TV, to be quite frank. But afterwards, when we go home, we call each other, you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. Oh, okay, well, this and this and that and that and this. We work it out. We're grown-ass women. And the come Monday, we go and do a show. We go and do another one.
There are so many variables when it comes into a show like The View. One, it's live, so the stress level is immediately up. 2, it's...
Yeah.
2, you're uncomfortable. You're a private person. 2, 4, alpha personalities. 3, you're giving your opinion specifically about news. And 4, 3 of you come from artistic backgrounds. Right. Whoopi, Rosie, comedians, you're a dancer, you're an actress, so the 3 of you are very passionate. Nicole is extremely passionate. So of course, on stage, backstage, just going to be headbutting. I try to tell young people here sometimes, before we go live, if anyone's yelling at each other, to try to be like, don't worry about it, afterwards, everyone will buy each other a beer, everybody will be fine, but going into it, you might get told to fuck off. That's just the way that this goes.
That's the nature of the beast, right?
Have you?
If we all were singing Kumbaya, it would be so boring.
Oh, it'd be a horrible show.
It'd be a horrible show because you wouldn't have anything else to talk about except Kim Kardashian's ass.
Right.
And
which
is quite lovely.
Kumbaya.
Yeah, right.
It's an amazing butt.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, she's beautiful. Beautiful gal. I'm being totally honest. I was like, wow, man, if I had that ass, I'd be naked too.
What about when you guys have an actual editorial conflict that gets out into the news like Cosby? What about something like that? How do you deal with that? Is that a situation where it's between the two of them and you might back out and say, I'll let the two of you figure this one out?
No. Mm-hmm. No. Because Rosie and I went at it as well.
Really?
And I think that what happens is that when emotions get high and everybody wants to make their voice heard or make a point or make a different point than what is being discussed, it can get real tense. And that day it did.
Yeah.
That day got very, very tense. But I thought that it was necessary. I really did, because here's the thing. When you talk to people, when you go out on the street, everybody has different opinions about it. There are people that I saw on the news, they were interviewing some people, and they're like, well, he's Mr. Cosby, and we should respect him. And another person goes, no, he's a flat-out racist. Mm-hmm. Rapist. And so, that was Freudian. He's a flat-out rapist.
There's another conversation to be had there, but we'll save that.
But those people don't get chastised.
Right.
For their different points of views. And it's, like I said, it's the nature of the beast. It's something that I also had to consider in taking this job. Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Consider that your opinion, whether it...
my opinion will be scrutinized.
Right.
My opinion will be attacked. My opinion would be championed. It runs the gamut.
Right.
And you have to take that in, and that's part of the job. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever worried that you may have an opinion that you had to hold back because maybe that opinion would be scrutinized too much, or maybe not you person, but one of the other hosts?
No. I can only speak for myself. The only time that I might be reserved in expressing my opinion if I'm not completely sure about all the facts. Mm-hmm. Where sometimes you do your research and then a thought of doubt comes into your head. Mm-hmm. For me, and I go, should I really say that if I'm not completely sure? Or sometimes things come out of my mouth and it's completely emotional. It's just how I feel. It may not be the way it is. It's just my feelings. And as soon as they come out, I want to go, bring them back. Why did I say that on national television?
Yeah.
So it's,
Why did you butt heads with Rosie as well over Cosby?
I think it was because the question that was asked was, how do you think that what do you think about the networks pulling away from him? So I just wanted to make that point. I wasn't trying to comment on the point she had already made, because I said to her, I agree with you. And I want to make this separate point as well about how in today's world, it's so insane that Big Brother is us, the public.
Right.
The public is watching. And the public has put Bill Cosby on trial. And so I just wanted that point to be made, and I didn't want it to be misconstrued. It was just a point.
You're not necessarily taking sides here or defending or defending him. You're just essentially saying that there is a court of public opinion that happens more often.
Yes. And, I will say this, is that if any woman makes an allegation of rape, it should be considered, respected, and investigated. And that's
despite the statute of limitations, essentially?
I hate that fact that statute of limitation has come into play. And I think that it's pretty incredible that this one woman, because she was a minor, now the statute is extended, and he may well go on trial, and then we will find out what is what. And so, in that regard, I agreed with Rosie, and there was other ways that I agreed with Whoopi on everything, but that's okay.
Absolutely.
It's okay. And can you curse on this show?
You can. I did. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Like when you get a tweet where someone say, "Shut up, you stupid, ignorant slut! How dare you defend a rapist, you cunt!"
I hate when I get those tweets.
Like you called me a slut and a cunt, but yet you're saying I'm defending a rapist. It's just insanity. My point in saying that is just that it comes with the job,
right?
And you kind of have to let it roll off your back.
And sometimes your opinions aren't being scrutinized by the most credible or the most tolerable audience or tolerant audience.
Yeah.
Not that the Views audience is that, but the fact that you're getting these sort of hypocritical tweets thrown at you.
Yeah, and you're like, you're a grown up, and this is how you're trying to express your point or your opposition of what you perceived my point was all about. And it's just. It is what it is. Even if I wasn't on The View, you would get those things anyway, because you're in the public eye. And so,
Well, you used to get stuff like that a little bit before at the beginning of your career. Not anything that outrageous and mean, but I think that you have a very distinctive personality and you have a very distinctive voice, right? And after Do the Right Thing, and especially after White Men Can't Jump, you were definitely a celebrity that impressions were done of you. Impressions are still done a little bit. I mean, I think you're beloved by fans and throughout Hollywood, but because you have a very distinctive personality. We've seen people do like impressions of you throughout the years on SNL and maybe even on In Living Color when you weren't a fly girl on it anymore.
No, I wasn't a fly girl. I was a choreographer.
Oh, excuse me.
No, that's okay. Well, I think that it's a sad statement that I was ridiculed because I had an accent. And I can take that my voice is high pitched. I get it. I get it. And God bless America 2 times that it has lowered as I matured. I get it. I'm not mad at you. But in regards to my accent, it's just completely prejudice. It's, and I just wouldn't stand for it. And then they called me feisty. Which is
Who called you feisty?
Well, like the media, and it's like, why are you calling me feisty? And,
why is that bad?
It's bad because it's a negative prejudice statement against Latins.
Okay.
The spicy,
I see.
feisty Spitfire,
right.
And would get it all the time.
Yeah.
I would get it all the time, what's so crazy is that they were like, why do you have to be so ethnic? Why do you have to, what do you mean? Why do you have to be a human being? What are you talking about? And now it's celebrated. Now, basically back then a lot of Latin performers would whitewash themselves in order to be relevant and stay in the business and get jobs, and I get it. But nowadays, everybody's like, hey, I'm Latin. I'm loud and I'm proud, and I think it's a wonderful thing. So I took some knocks.
Would you ever
get that? That's fine.
Would agents or anybody ever ask you after you were starting to make it big to or even beforehand to whitewash yourself a little bit, to not be as Latin or ethnic?
Yes, I had this one representative early on told me, like, if you get just a little plastic surgery, you could pass for white.
What?
Yes, darling. Yes.
That's unbelievable.
Yes.
What did you say?
I said, oh, you're fired.
Good for you.
That's what I said. And that's what I mean. Like, I took a couple of knocks. But, nowadays, you have wonderful actresses like Sofia Vergara and Rosario Dawson.
Well, what kind of plastic surgery would make like they're literally like whitening your skin? Like, what are they talking about?
I didn't ask.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, going into detail about that, you'd be like, wait.
No, I think the obvious is probably like my nose, my full lips, and now everybody gets lips injections.
Yeah.
That's
an amazing impression of lip injections, Rosie. I also want to try that myself.
No, it doesn't work.
That's not what it was.
Yeah.
Let's bring in a few questions from a HuffPost Live community member, a big fan of yours. We have Gina Espinoza here. Hey, Gina. Gina, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's your question?
Hey, Rosie. Nice to see you again this year.
Hi, nice to see you.
Hi. As a Latina, what do you think your greatest challenge was that you had to overcome to be successful at your new career as a talk show host?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No. I mean, you mean what challenges would get in my way as a Latina to be a host on the View?
Well, it took them a long time to get there.
Well, that's their issues, not mine. Right? So I would say nothing. I would say nothing, and I feel really, really honored to have that title. It's very humbling, and thank goodness they finally came around to putting one of us up there on the panel. But really, no, nothing. There's no challenge for me being a Latina in this regard.
Mm-hmm. I want to pull up a question that was submitted by HuffPost Live community member Javanka Beckles, an elected official in California.
Good afternoon, Rosie. My name is Javanka Beckles. I'm the Vice Mayor for the City of Richmond, California. I'm a Black progressive Latina and local elected official. You're a Black progressive Latina in the entertainment industry. We have platforms in which to speak. Do you think it's imperative that we use our notoriety to bring about social justice, specifically with regard to what we're seeing today of the indiscriminate killing of Black men?
Okay. First of all, I would like to say, in all due respect, that I am 100% Puerto Rican. We have we're from African descent. We have African blood in us, but I'm Boricua, and I hope you don't take offense to that. In regards to the responsibility of being socially conscious as a performer, I think that it's up to the individual. When I was younger, I used to get really, really, really angry that all these celebrities weren't rushing up the hill with me in protesting or fighting for whatever. And a very, very well-respected activist pulled me over and said, that is their journey. It's not for you to judge. They have to come to it.
Is that their journey as a celebrity or their journey as a person?
Their journey as a person. Mm-hmm. Their journey as a person. Just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean you have to be a social activist.
Right.
I think that you have to find that conviction within yourself and honor it. And if you don't, that's your journey. But I think that every human being on this planet should give back, should pay it forward and should stand up for what they believe to make this world a better place.